Hello friends, welcome to session 9, Enterprise Analysis. So the agenda of the session is Enterprise Analysis. Basically, we'll understand what are the different phases of enterprise analysis. Is it a one simple task, or it's a group of tasks or group of activities? Okay, or it's a multiple groups, rather not one group, multiple groups. So what exactly enterprise analysis is all about? Then SWOT analysis. Then we have feasibility study and analysis. Then a problem statement. In fact, this is the most important question, that what is the question? What exactly we are going to achieve through this software or through the solution? And the goal statement. Business case. What exactly is business case? Basically, we'll understand it's from the point of view of whether to go ahead with such kind of solution, or for funding, or what exactly is the business case. Is it worthwhile working on it, or it's not at all worth it? So what this business case is, okay, we'll understand that concept. Project scope statement and vision statement. As is means as the current state of the system, and to be the future state of the system. And a root cause analysis. And this important tool called fishbone diagram, we are going to understand that how it works and how easy it is to prepare. In fact, in the end, I'm going to give you an assignment also to prepare fishbone diagram for 2-3 cases. I'm going to share on mail 3 questions, and you have to prepare a fishbone diagram based on that problem. Okay, based on your own knowledge and background and all. So that was the agenda is all about. Okay, let's start with this enterprise analysis. See, enterprise analysis is not one activity or one group. It is basically a sequence of activities and sub steps or sub modules, you say. For example, the first is define business need, part of business analysis or system analysis or enterprise analysis. Then we have assess the capability gaps, the current capability and potential capability and would be capability, the gap. Determine the solution approach. What is going to be the approach toward the solution which we are going to achieve through this computerization. Define the scope of the solution, what is going to be covered in the solution and what will not be covered in the solution. And define the business case, that what the case is and whether it is worth going for this kind of solution or not, is worth for funding or not. That's called business case. So all these things comes under business analysis. For this business analysis, there are a lot of tools available to, a lot of activities available to do the analysis of the business. And some of them are SWOT analysis, benchmarking, brainstorming, business rules analysis, functional decomposition, root cause analysis or RCA, document analysis, decision analysis, estimation, focus groups, scope models, user stories, and risk analysis. There are more tools available that to understand the system at present, we have to do all these, all these tools are available for us to, make us understand what the current system is. So entire aspect of this enterprise analysis is to understand the scenario, understand the current status, understand what is going to be the scope and what are the problems in the current system. So this is all about understanding the system. One word, if you ask me, it is understanding the current system. Okay, so these are the tools available, and we are going to understand some of them, not all of them, because we cannot understand all of them in one class. But however, if the name is there with you, and if you know what the question is, like for example, if I explain two of them or four of them or five of them, then probably you will understand and you will find out more details, because earlier, before we started this class or this training, there was no question on enterprise analysis. If I leave some questions in your mind, that is going to be beneficial for you, that now I have a question, I can ask questions, and trust me, if you can ask questions, you'll get the answer also. The problem is that we don't have any question. Without knowledge, we don't have even questions. So if we have a knowledge, we can ask questions, and if we can ask questions, we'll get the answers for sure. That is also true. So let's understand the SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis looks at your strengths and weaknesses and the opportunities and threats your business faces. If you look at strengths and weaknesses, these are probably within, and opportunities and threats are from outside generally. So you can divide this SWOT analysis in two parts, internal and external. The SWOT analysis framework is a very important and useful tool to use in marketing, management, and other business opportunities or applications. As a basic tool, its mastery is a fundamental requirement for the marketer, entrepreneur, or the business person. And a clear understanding of SWOT is required for business measures. In fact, I have something to add. If we as a human, if we as a person, me as a person, or if I as a person, or as a brother, or as a sister, or a husband, if I know and if I conduct my own SWOT analysis on any aspect of my life, that is going to help me to come out as a better person. So you can have your own SWOT analysis. What are your strengths in the current, as an employee also, you can do SWOT analysis on your own self to understand your potential, your threats, your competition, your opportunities, your weaknesses, because that will make you understand where you stand right now and what are the areas where you have to work upon yourself. So it is not only applicable for business. I have used this tool for myself also, and I used to ask this question from the participants also, or potential employees also, whenever I conduct interviews for my own company. I used to straight away ask, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What do you think? What are the threats to you or your opportunity in the company? So that helped me actually to understand what is the employee's take on this, strengths, weaknesses, and all. So there are. This is what the analysis is all about. SWOT analysis, situation analysis, divided in two parts: internal and external. Internal analysis can be further dropped down, broken down and divided into two parts. One is weakness, one is strength. So strength and weakness. Then we have external analysis, where we call it as opportunities and threats. So opportunities and threats comes from external sources, from outside, and weaknesses and strengths the business carries or you as a person carries, depending on where you are applying the SWOT analysis. Strengths, the characteristics of a business or a team that gives an advantage over others in the industry. Positive, tangible, and intangible attributes internal to an organization or beneficial aspects of the organization or the capabilities of an organization, including the process capabilities, financial resources, products and services, customer goodwill, and brand loyalty. All these comes as a strength for the organization. For example, abundant financial resources, well-known brand name, economics of a scale, lower costs, superior management talent, better marketing skills, good distribution skills, committed employees. These are all examples of strengths. Okay, so we need to identify what are the strengths of the organization. Then we need to look at the weaknesses, the characteristics that place the firm at a disadvantage relative to others, detract the organization from its ability to attain the core goal and influence its growth. There might be hurdles in your own life as a person and in your organization's activities which are which are proving to be hurdle in the growth. The weaknesses are factors which do not meet the standards we feel they should meet. However, weaknesses are controllable. They must be minimized and eliminated. For example, the limited financial resources may be a weakness, and for me this is the major weaknesses which I have been facing for past 10 years. Because I started my company without a penny, without any funding, and I've been creating my own source of funding from the within the organization to move on, to continue my business. How difficult it is, if somebody asks me, I'll answer. Without financial support, without proper finances, how you start your business. Weak spending on R&D, very narrow product line, limited distribution, higher costs, out of date products or technology, weak market image, poor marketing skills, limited management skills, under-trained employees. These are all examples of weaknesses. So we need to identify them, we need to work upon them, and we need to remove these weaknesses, or at least minimize these weaknesses in order to grow. And other than financial, I've been working on almost everything, and that financial weaknesses have taken the back seat in my organization, because all these other weaknesses which are mentioned here, I've been working very hard on the other weaknesses so that they can overcome the financial weakness, and we come out and we were able to sustain for 10 years. Opportunities, chances to make greater profits in the environment, external attractive factors that represent the reason for an organization to exist and develop. Opportunities arise when an organization can take benefit of conditions in its environment to plan and execute strategies that enable it to become more profitable. For example, rapid market growth, rival firms' complacement, changing customer needs or tastes, new uses for product discovered, economic boom, government deregulation, sales decline for a substitute product. All these are examples of opportunities as a person or as a company. So all these things we need to understand. These are from external sources, and we should work on the opportunities which are available and make the best use of the opportunities available in front of us. Threats, external elements in the environment that could cause trouble for the business, external factors beyond the organization's control, arise when conditions in external environment jeopardize the reliability and profitability of the organization's business. Threats compound the vulnerability when they relate to the weaknesses. Threats are uncontrollable. When the threat comes, the stability and survival can be at stake. And this is basically when we are in sea, and if we see some cyclone or something and we are able to, that is external threat. So we can survive from the threat if we are internally strong, and if we have that commitment, and if we have that attitude towards forward failure, that if we fail or if we go down, we have a energy and stamina to come back and bounce back. It's more of attitude which I say, because you cannot control the threats from outside, but what you can how can you face them, that is more interesting. And here comes the more attitude. I can talk about one simple example here, the threat, how you handle the threats and how I have been handling the threats. I've heard of a story. In fact, this person is from my native place, very near to my native place, around 7-8 kilometers from my native place. This person was born at 7 months premature baby, and he got a full body paralysis at age of 5. He was on a wheelchair, and doctor said, forget about walking, he'll not be able to stand through his whole life. This was threat, external, was not able to, problem, whatever you call it, I don't know. I'll not mention a specific thing, but attitude is the factor which is playing a role here, which I'm going to talk about. This person, with his mindset and strength, internal strength, he bounced back and is world renowned wrestler now. I don't know whether you have heard of him or not. It's Sangram Singh I'm talking about. He participated in Big Boss also, India's famous TV show. I don't know whether you recollect. Examples are entry of foreign competitors, introduction of new substitute products, product life cycle in decline, changing customer needs or taste, rival firm adopt new strategies, increased government regulation acts, etc. These are external sources, so you cannot change them. So what you can do is you can change yourself. So change yourself by your attitude, by your energy, by your commitment towards the work, by your this attitude towards that. Yes, I cannot survive. I can survive, and I can still bounce back. They are not going to affect my own energy and my own commitment level. So whatever these regions probably are, you can still fight back. Next topic is feasibility study and analysis. Feasibility study, it is an evaluation and analysis of the potential of the proposed project, which is based on extensive investigation and research to give full comfort to the decision makers. Feasibility analysis, it's a process by which feasibility is measured. Now I'll tell you, feasibility study. Sometimes when you take decisions on project, you do a lot of feasibility. Is it worth it going for it? Now when you ask this question, is it worth going for this project? What are the factors which may influence it? What are the parameters on which we should conduct the feasibility study? There are a lot of parameters. We should conduct the economic viability or feasibility, social feasibility. There are a lot of different categories of feasibilities which we conduct. That is it all from the all aspect of the product is feasible and the software is feasible, and the parameters helps in understanding that. Okay, so we measure the process this feasibility by a term called feasibility analysis. Conducting a feasibility study, too often we launch new ideas without thinking about what our market is. So preparing a feasibility study will help you determine if there is sufficient demand for the product or service, and can the product or service be provided on a profitable or sustainable basis. We need to ask this question, and if we get the answer in positive, if we get the answer yes, then yes, it makes sense to think about going ahead with the project. Questions before you begin: what defined market am I trying to reach? What specific companies or organizations are servicing this market which I'm targeting? Are they successful? Are they offering something similar which I'm planning to offer? What is their market share overall? Another question probably is the market saturated or wide open? Like as of now, if you ask me, the market is wide open for IoT, which stands for Internet of Things. And I'm working on, personally I'm working on Internet of Things and storage. I remember earlier, 15 years back when we used to study, we used to talk about that out of $1 spent on the server, 75 cents were spent on hardware and 25 cents were stored on storage. But now the figure has changed. So we are spending on the storage more compared to the servers. So is the market saturated or wide open? What is the size of the market? Is it growing? Is it stable, volatile, or trendy? How can we reach this market? How are the competitors currently reaching the market? What do customers expect from this type of product or service, and so on? So there are a lot of questions which you should ask yourself, and you do analysis and find out the answers of these questions when you are doing the feasibility, when you are conducting the feasibility study about the product and services which you are going to offer. All these things forms the content of the document which we are ultimately trying to create after the training. Then we call it as BRD. So whatever topics I'm discussing right now, they are going to form, they are going to be a part of that BRD. Why do a feasibility study? It gives focus to the project. It narrows the alternatives available. It surfaces new opportunities if you study properly. It enhances the probability of success by addressing factors early that could affect the project later on. It provides quality information for the decision making. It helps in securing funding, and it helps to increase investment in the idea. So because this is the first step, a foundation step to affect the entire decision, whether actually are we going ahead with the project or we are going to drop it. So if the feasibility study is negative, we may not probably at all go with the solution. So the solution must be supported by the strong outcomes from the feasibility study. Test for feasibility, as I was talking about, there are a lot of different categories of feasibilities which we should check. Operational feasibility, for example. Technical feasibility, technically the product is viable or not. I mean, technical cost is too high compared to the other options available. We should not rather go ahead with the project because of the cost, technical cost involved. Or schedule feasibility, like right now here in India, winters are coming, and if you come out with summer with something, some product which is to be used in summers, there's no point. The schedule is not right to come out with that kind of product. Economic feasibility and social feasibility. You cannot have a product which will affect the social thinking of the people. So you have to understand, sometimes we have seen that the social acceptance for a particular field or particular solution is not there in the market or not there in the community at large. That is called social feasibility. Right now, if you ask me, in the state of Indian politics, the currency ban, socially it is acceptable, but political class is not accepting it, and they are coming out in opposition with the decision taken by the government. So we have to understand this feasibility of the decisions, feasibility of the product, feasibility of the software, in terms of socially it is going to be acceptable or not. Problem statement. When pursuing a development project, it is always done to solve a problem, definitely. But what is the problem? So until we understand the problem properly, thoroughly, what am I going to achieve? So we need to understand the problem carefully first. A good problem statement should answer these questions. What is the problem? This should be explained why the team is required. Because this paragraph, or it consists of multiple paragraphs and sections, that why we are going to achieve this, why we are going to do this, and why the team is required for this solution. Who has the problem, or who is the client or customer who is facing this problem? This should explain who needs the solution and who will decide the problem has been solved. I can quote one example here. Somebody sent me a video. Who sent me? Okay, Pradeep. Pradeep only sent me the video. And that is very interesting to mention here. The problem. The problem was with major stores or supermarkets earlier. I don't know. In India it is still there, but in US I don't know. We come across a lot of hidden cameras, recordings, and CCTV footage on YouTube, which we see and find this problem. The problem is, earlier people used to walk at the counter, used to ask for the product, and the shop owner used to provide that product and take the money. The supermarket concept is, you go in the market, you choose the product, you come back to the counter, you pay for the product, and you walk out. Now, what was the problem in this particular implementation? The people with bad intention, or they used to steal the things, and theft used to occur because they used to hide the things, small things, in their purse or their bags or under the clothes. They used to hide things, and we have seen a lot of CCTV recordings of such thefts occurring in stores or supermarkets. I was watching that video other day, and that was very interesting. That you walk into the store, you just have a card, you swipe that card and you walk in the store, and then you don't have to go anywhere. You just pick your products and walk out. You are not paying anything, you are not going to any counter. Whatever you are taking from the store, your card has identified that and will detect the appropriate money from your card itself. So you are not actually stealing anything. Whatever you are picking up from the store, automatically that is being deducted from your card. So the entry to the store and exit from the store is sufficient enough to charge money from you and to make purchases. So you are not facing anything, and no hidden camera required for such solutions. That was an interesting solution. So the problem and the address to solution, definitely that's a very good question here and very good answer I found, and I saw that video. That video example is relevant to this particular thing. So what form can the resolution be? What is the scope and limitations in time, money, resources, technologies from that point of view that can be used to solve the problem? Does the client want a white paper or a web tool, a new feature for a product, or what exactly client is looking for? That makes the problem statement. What to put in the problem statement when writing in the BRD? You need to put a concise wording of the problem to be tackled. Who is or who are the customers? What is the client need? What are the assumptions being made? What are the limitations? What are the engineering standards that impact the project? These are the statements, these are the points which you need to put in the problem statement. Bounded rationality is a very interesting topic. It was conceptualized by Herbert Simon in early 1960s, for which he got his Nobel Prize also in 1960s. People try to behave rationally within the limits of their information processing capabilities and within the context of their attitude and emotions. This is a very interesting and major statement which is going to affect the next few slides and which will have the impact on business case. So you need to understand the definition of bounded rationality before understanding the business case topic which is going to be discussed now. So the problem that they behave, any human being behave rationally within their own limits of information processing capabilities. I have my own limitation in terms of processing the information which I have, and I have my own attitude and my own emotions within the context of that information available. That will help me, or that will be the factor, that is going to be the factor to my behavior. I see a lot of things in the environment. I behave with them. I react to them based on my knowledge, my information processing capability, and my thought process. So this is my own personal behavior. People engage in restricted searches for information. They are not open actually. They are bind with their own information processing capability and their own attitude and emotions for search of better information. Have limited information processing capabilities, really rely on familiar sources of information, biases and heuristics, and construct simplified models of reality. This is a typical behavior of any human being. And then they make decisions using these models. So bounded rationality, the problem space is this much. If you look at, these are the factors, these are the issues which are creating the problem. There are so many factors, so many points which are creating the problem space, and you have this limitation, this ellipse, this circle tell about your thinking about the problem, your understanding, your definition of the problem, your reaction to the problem. Simon referred to this as satisficing, that you are satisfied once you know this much about the problem, once you react to this much of factors about the problem. This is called bounded rationality. So the bounded rationality, how do we deal with it? Business cases are one of the structured problem solving methods to help us minimize or overcome the effect of the bounded rationality. So I wanted to explain the meaning of business cases. So business cases is the result of problem which we face due to the bounded rationality of human nature or human beings. Business case examples: Consumer Product International. The strengths, their concern: should this business case be funded? So basically this is one example where you look at it from your own perspective, your own angle, your own thinking, without being backed by solid evidence and solid data. Okay, so business case, we need to write business cases. Why do we write business cases? Disciplined exercise make tacit assumptions explicit. Tacit is within that scope which are inbuilt. There's a proper term in Hindi, I don't know if you understand Hindi, nihit. So make tacit assumptions explicit. So whatever assumptions you have which are inbuilt assumptions or understood assumptions, make them explicit, make them come out and write them. Provide basis for allocating capital. So without a simple assumption, you need to support that based on some factors, some data, make them explicit so that capital can be allocated to this business. Communication tool: essential investment in building the relationship asset and define what project is and what it is not. That's the region we should write business cases. So basically this whole idea is about the viability of the software. Is it a strong case to go ahead, or there are regions which affect the decision that going ahead with this solution? If you look at the overall life cycle, project life cycle, and where this business case fit into the entire life cycle, this circle, this highlights this case. We have the first, the approval phase, where the project definition is there, project outline is mentioned in this. When we have project setup, and then comes the project approval, just before the execution phase, project approval. So before you get the approval or go ahead with the project, you have to have a solid business case to make the top management believe in that, yes, we should go ahead with this project. To get the approval from the top management and decision makers, you need to have the business case, viable business case, and solid reasoning behind it. So here it stands, the business case lies in the entire project development life cycle, because after that we have execution phase, project initiation, and a lot of activities are there in project initiation also, project execution, then delivery phase, and project completion phase. So project approval is the factor, is the phase where we need the business case. Business cases are essential part of project selecting and scope, require making assumptions explicit, use arguments of facts, faith and fear, sets the direction and support for the projects, establish business ownership, and set boundaries. These are the factors which are for business cases, the facts about business cases, and strongly influence the relationship asset. Alright, then comes the vision and scope statement, or vision and scope document. A typical vision and scope document follows an outline like this one. Problem statement. When we talk about problem statement, we should write these 5-6 factors about the problem. What is the background of the project? Who are the stakeholders? Who are users? What are the risks? What are the assumptions? We are going to talk about one by one, all of them. Vision of the solution, vision statement, list of features, scope of the phased release, and features that will not be developed, which are not possible. That is the limitation. So vision and scope document consist of all these things. Let's understand one by one. Project background. It is a summary of problem that project will solve. It should provide a brief history of the problem and an explanation of how the organization justified the decision to build software to address it. It covers the reasons why the problem exists, the organization's history with this problem, and any previous projects that were undertaken to try to address it, and the way that the decision to begin this project was reached. Stakeholders. This is a bulleted list of stakeholders. Each stakeholder may be referred to by name, by title, or by role. For example, support group manager, or chief technical officer, or senior manager. The needs for each stakeholders are described in few sentences. Then we have users. This is a bulleted list of the users. As with the stakeholders, each user can either be referred to by name or by a role. However, if there are many users, it is usually inefficient to try to name each one. The need of each user are described in that case. Because if it is a public at large, then you need to tell the need of that user rather than the user himself. Risks. Lists any potential risks to the project. It should be generated by a project team brainstorming session. It could include external factors that may impact the project, or issues or problems that could potentially cause project delays or raise issues. Assumptions. The list of assumptions that stakeholders, users, or project team may have made. These are assumptions which we need to write. Vision statement. The goal of the vision statement is to describe what the project is expected to accomplish. It should explain what the purpose of the project is. This should be compelling reason, a solid justification for spending time, money, and resources on the project. The best time to write the vision statement is after talking to the stakeholders and users and writing down their needs. By this time, a concrete understanding of the project should be starting to gel. So this is a vision statement, very important for the document, why we are going to write and what's the whole idea about this. List of features comes under vision statement only. A feature is a cohesive area of software that fulfills a specified need or specific need by providing a set of services or capabilities. Any software package, in fact, any engineered product can be broken down into features. The project manager can choose the number of features in the vision and scope document by changing the level of the detail or granularity of each feature and by combining multiple features into a single one. It is useful to describe a product in about 10 features in the vision and scope document, because this is usually yield a level of complexity that most people reading it can comfortable with. So each feature should be listed in a separate paragraph, a bulleted point. It should be given a name followed by a description of the functionality that it provides. Alright, so this is what the list of features is broadly. Review the mission and scope document, vision and scope document after you have created it. And who is going to review it? Once the vision and scope document has been written, it should be reviewed by the stakeholders, by every stakeholder. And how to perform this review? It can be as simple as emailing the document around and asking for comments. The document can also be inspected. It is important that project manager follow up with each individual person and work to understand any issues that a reviewer bring up while reviewing the document. The project manager should make sure that everybody or everyone agrees that the final document really reflects the need of the stakeholders and the users. Once the document has been reviewed and everyone agrees that it is complete, the team is unified toward a single goal and the project can be planned now. So this is the current state as is, to be future state. So we look at the capabilities of the current state or the current software. These are the current capabilities and these are going to be the feature capabilities of the business of the software after it is complete. So we look at the current state and the future state, or current capabilities and the future capabilities. This is known as is or to be, current state and future state. So assess the capability gap, analyze current capabilities, assess new capability requirements, and document assumptions. Capabilities. A capability is a demonstrated ability to perform, sample capabilities are business processes, features of software application, tasks that an end user may perform, events that a solution must be able to respond to, products that an organization creates, or services that organization delivers, or the goals that a solution will allow stakeholders to accomplish. All these come under capabilities. Root cause analysis, the last topic. Root cause analysis is in-depth process or technique for identifying the most basic factors underlying a variation in the performance or the problem. Focus is on the system and processes. Focus is not on individuals who is failing. Why to determine root cause? Why? In fact, a lot of whys are involved. If you ask 5-6 whys, you'll get the root cause. Prevent problem from recurring. It reduce possible injury to the personnel. It reduce rework and scrap. It increase the competitiveness. It promote happy customers and stakeholders. And ultimately, it reduces the cost and save the money if you perform the root cause analysis carefully. Look beyond the obvious. Invariably, the root cause of the problem is not the initial reaction or response whenever you see something. You should not react immediately, because that is never is the root cause actually. It is not just the restarting or finding. It's not just the restating and finding the problem. The root cause is something else. It involves a proper study to find the root cause. Most of the times the root cause is much more than that, such as process or program failure, or system or organization failure, or poorly written work instructions, or lack of training. There are so many factors. So we need to find out, and there's a solution for it, and there's a way to find out. When should root cause analysis be performed? Significant or consequential events. Repetitive human errors are occurring during a specific process. Repetitive equipment failure associated with the specific process, or performance is generally below desired standard. These are the situations when we should go for this root cause analysis. How to determine the real root cause? Assign the task to a person or a team if required, knowledgeable of the system and process involved. Define the problem, collect and analyze the facts and the data available, develop the theories and possible cause. There may be a multiple causes that are interrelated, and systematically reduce the possible theories and possible cause using facts. Alright, this is how we can determine. Develop possible solutions, define and implement an action plan, that is to improve communication, revise processes and procedures or work instructions, perform additional training, etc., whatever is required for that. Monitor and assess results of the action plan for appropriateness and effectiveness of the solution suggested. Repeat analysis if the problem persists. If it persists, did we get to the root cause? Because somewhere, if the problem still persists, that means we were not able to reach to the root cause of the problem. Root cause was somewhere else and we were addressing something else. Useful tools for determining root cause. The most important, we have understood what root cause is, why should we perform, how we should perform. So the tools for determining the root cause. The first is cause the effect diagram and the 5 whys. This 5 whys is sufficient enough, and nothing, you simply put a why, and if you get the answer, you will get to the root cause. Why this has happened? Okay, because of that. Why that has happened? Because of that. Why that has happened? So if you continue asking 5 times, you will probably reach to the root cause. That is why the name 5 whys. Brainstorming, you need to take the team and you just do brainstorming, you'll get to the root cause. The most effective is cause and effect diagram, the first one which we are going to study. Flowchart and process mapping is another way to find out root cause, but we will restrict ourselves to this cause and effect diagram. We call it as concept of fishbone or Ishikawa diagram. The fishbone or Ishikawa diagram is one of the important concepts which can help you list down your root cause of the problem. Fishbone was conceptualized by Ishikawa, so in the honor of its inventor, this concept was named as Ishikawa diagram. Inputs to conduct a fishbone diagram comes from a discussion and brainstorming with people who are involved in the project. and this is a method, and this is the diagram. We also call it as fishbone or cause and effect diagram. The cause are the methods and the effect is the result. We use only 5 M's in this. One is man or woman. Do we have the regions which are men or women? Or second M is method. Do we have method which is creating this problem? And third is material. Is it some material which is causing the problem, or is it a machinery? If yes, this diagram will have detailed information about this, and this diagram may go very complex. So, and there are other factors which are causing the effect, causing the problem. So effect is the problem, and the rest all are regions for the problem, contributions to the problem. And this is one example, is loading my computer. I'm facing my problem, my system is not loading, my system is not starting. So what are the possible Ishikawa diagram for this? Men, women, methods, material and machinery. Let's look at the men, women. Cannot answer prompt question, this probably is the men, because I am not able to answer the prompt question. Or not following instructions, probably this may be the region. So this is human problem. Or brain fade, I have never heard of it, never worked on computer. So the main cause, my system is not starting, is the person who is working on it. Or the method, so system is upside down, or system is backward, or inserted CD is wrong, or instructions were wrong. These are methods of booting the system. Others probably are power interruption, because there is no power, so we are not able to work with the system cannot start. Or material, CD is missing, or wrong type of CD, or bad CD, these are material. Machinery, not enough free memory, inadequate system, graphic card incompatible, hard disk crashed, these are machinery. So if you look at this Ishikawa diagram, gives you so many factors, so many different aspects to find the root cause, and all of these will result into cannot load software on the PC and my system is not starting. So this is one example Ishikawa diagram, and after that I'm going to give you in the mail, I'm going to give you 3 questions for which you will prepare Ishikawa diagram yourself also as an exercise. So today is a practical learning, and from today I would say that we have started the actual document writing or BRD preparation exercise. Okay, that's all for this, my friend. Thank you so much for watching.